Hi, Ash. How are you?
Good.
I'm so excited to talk with you. We actually just got off one of our weekly check-ins. So, how are you feeling about the week?
I'm excited. Hopefully a bit better than this week. So
Yeah. Well, you didn't do bad this week, right? You just had a maintenance week and related to stress, which I'm sure we'll talk about today. But you've been doing really well since we started working together. So, to be proud of yourself, regardless of having, not every week is going to be a celebratory, like, woo, like amazing week. We have sometimes that they're pretty steady, but it's at least better than going in the opposite direction.
yeah, that's
Right.
exactly it.
Awesome. All right. Well, just tell everyone a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and then we'll jump into the question.
Yeah, so I'm Ash, I'm from Australia. So first international person.
Yes.
And yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much me.
I know. Actually, since then I have one other international client from the UK, and I actually have a discovery call later with someone else from Australia. So you really did start the international way, because for so long I was like, I don't even know how that would work. Like, I didn't know it was possible, but it's totally possible. It's so exciting. So yes, thank you for helping me break into recognizing that I can change more than just the United States, but the actual world. So super exciting. But anyways, all right. So let's deep dive into the question. So what was the main challenge or obstacle you were looking to solve before choosing to work with me?
I think it was around consistency. So for me, that's always been the biggest issue: consistency and accountability.
Mm-hmm.
And I always had the right intentions. It was just sticking to it and continuing to do that, even if it wasn't the easiest option.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, you've probably been one of my most consistent clients since working together. So I think that's really cool that that's what your biggest struggle was. And now it's kind of like a cakewalk for you. So that's really awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. So what wasn't working on your own?
Probably the accountability part. So yeah, there was no one there kind of saying, "Oh, hey, is that the best choice you could be making?" Because you can talk yourself into anything. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's been really good just to have someone checking in and to just remind you of what your goals are and keep you on track.
Totally. Yeah, and I think that that's normal human behavior. Is we say we want to do something, but then we get caught up with life. We have so many things going on. It's helpful to have someone to remind you of what you're doing. So that's really, really great. And so what did we implement that was different than what you have maybe done before, and when did you realize that?
So I think there's been a few things, but the biggest game change has been obviously the gluten free.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'd been struggling with bloating and just general discomfort, and I always just attributed it to being normal. Like, I didn't realize that that's not what you should feel like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, trialing to cut that out, which I think we only did once I started actually getting more of the physical symptoms of it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's been an absolute game changer for me. Like, I've just felt better in general. My weight started moving in the right direction,
Mm-hmm.
and even though it sounds hard, it hasn't been that hard to stick to, which I thought it was going to be at first, because I love bread and pasta. And yeah, it hasn't been as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I think the focus on the mindfulness stuff as well, I didn't think of that as something that I would include as part of healthy eating or better eating habits, but I think it contributes overall to your attitude towards it all.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when we first started working together, we noticed you weren't feeling well, and the weight was moving, but it really kind of wasn't moving with all the effort you were putting in. And so we experimented together on going gluten-free, and for you, it really worked. Your symptoms relieved, you were less bloated. The weight started coming off, probably because it was mostly related to inflammation. And like you said, the mindfulness was something that benefited you. And I like that you said that you didn't know that that was important or helpful, but it is, right? So can you just speak a little bit more on that? This is kind of going off script a bit, but what particularly with the mindfulness exercises were effective for you?
The journaling has been a really good one. Just, I never realized how much stuff that I was like, I know I overthink things, but there was probably a lot of stuff that I was just, it was just getting stuck in my head, and that was making it hard to focus on other things, and it was just drawing my attention away. And I think just overall that's helped not to have that extra stress and not to add to everything else that's going on. Just those little things that you can do to make every day a little bit easier.
Totally. Yeah. So great. So great. So what was the outcome that we achieved together that you're the most proud of?
Ooh. I think for me it's been that consistency part. Like, that's always something where I would be doing so well, and then I'd have one bad day and it would just ruin everything. Whereas now I'm like, even if I go a little off track, I don't feel as bad about it, and I can easily get back on track, which has been really good. And in the past, I haven't done that. Like, I've gone through phases of, I'm doing really well, and then I'll just completely bottom out. So it's been good to actually know that I can do it consistently and still like not feel like I'm restricting anything.
I love that. Yes. That's the ultimate goal for everyone listening in the world. I hope that's what you accomplish in your life. Like, consistently just feeling healthy. If you go a little off, you get right back on track. You don't go, it's not like a big up and down thing. I think that's a big misconception a lot of people have, is they're like, oh, I went off track, I'll just get right back on. I went off track, I'll just get right back on. And it's like constantly doing that, and there's extremes are too much that really they're just staying here, right? But if you're like consistently making effort, and then maybe go off a little bit, but consistently making effort, eventually you're going to get to your goal a lot faster than doing that like big all in, all out sort of approach.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I always like to ask people this because, joining a nutrition coaching program is a financial investment. It takes a lot of time and energy. And unfortunately, in the nutrition world, there is a lot of BS out there. And so I always like to ask people, like, were you skeptical to work with me at first? And for those out there that might be skeptic, what would you really say to them?
Yeah, I think I could see I could justify the investment. Like, for me, it was about, no, I know I need to do this. And, I've followed your podcasts and your Instagram and all that for ages, and I really believed in what you say and everything. And for me, we clicked straight away. So I found that really easy to feel more comfortable about going into working with you anyway. So yeah, I could justify it because I was like, well, this is an investment in myself, and it's 6 months, you put in all the effort, but it's going to change it for life. It's not just, well, it's 6 months and that's a lot of money, and it's not like I'm not going to do anything with it. It's to create those habits to go forward, and you're going to get a lot more value out of that.
100%.
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone who is interested in joining my program?
100% do it. It's been amazing for me, and I tell everyone about it. For me, it's been really, really helpful. And it's not something that a lot of people are instantly like, oh, you do that. But for me, that's been the best part, is just, it's a different approach. Like, obviously a web-based thing's a bit different. But it's just been really good to know that you've got someone there, and, it makes it really easy. And yeah.
And you make my job, you do from the comfort of your home, right? I think that's the best for both of us.
I don't have to do anything.
And then again, I would love to go to Australia, not gonna lie. So
feel free.
One day, I think the plane ride would be like a lot of hours, but anyways, it is really true. And also, you make my job a whole lot easier. You're a delight to work with. You have guidelines and you take action, and that's how results get made, right? Yeah. So really, really proud of you. Thank you so much. And is there anything else you want to say?
No, that's all.
Awesome. Awesome. Great. Thanks so much, Ash.
No worries.